Hi, you're listening to the Non-Trinary Podcast. My name is Leo. I'm non-binary transmasculine and my pronouns are they, he.
But hi, I'm Kay. I use they, them pronouns. I am non-binary.
My name's Freya. I am also non-binary, surprise. I use they, them pronouns.
Start with how we found the non-binary label. Freya, if you would like to go first.
Oh, sure thing. Well, the way I found the non-binary label was via Tumblr, of course.
Of course.
I found it when I was 12, maybe 13, pretty young. And I experimented a little bit, but really wasn't that sure, and then returned to it about 4 months ago-ish, around about that time.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a bit of a late bloomer compared to you, Freya. I found the label when I was about 16, 17, just as I was leaving college. So I watched Carmilla, the web series on YouTube, and the actor Caitlin Alexander plays a non-binary character. And I was like, holy shit, this is the first time I've actually seen someone who is exactly like me on media. And that is kind of where I got the label. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from.
For me, it was Tumblr.
Absolutely.
I think I was 15 or 16, and at the time, I was just your regular tomboy. And I was just scrolling through Tumblr, and I just managed to come across this LGBT profile, and it had the non-binary term and the definition, and I was like, a light bulb kind of just went off
Yeah.
in my head. I was like, wait, there's a label for something like this. This is me. What? Where? What? When? Why? And then I didn't know whether or not to like label myself as it. So for a while, I was just like, I had it at the back of my head. And then when I got to my first year of university, obviously you have more freedom in university to like explore yourself and gain independence and everything. So joining the LGBT society at my university, I met other non-binary people and trans people as well, and it kind of just opened my eyes. I'm like, I'm not a lesbian. I'm just non-binary and gay. So
Yeah.
I changed my pronouns. I didn't change my name for a while. I think I only changed my name like last year. I was Lee, and then only recently, in the last couple of months, I changed it to Leo. So, did either of you change your name?
Yes, I did. So I started experimenting towards the end of college, and then university is a great time to change your name because nobody knows you. And so I came with the name Kay, and then kind of hadn't changed my name formally until about towards the end of that year. Towards the end of my first year, I changed my name, and then things progressed from there.
Freya?
See, I'm in first year right now, so I'm in like part one of both of your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've thought about it a little bit, but nothing so far.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it just really depends on like if you're like what. For me, I refer to my like birth name as a dead name.
Yeah.
But obviously
Mhm.
not everyone feels that way about their name, which is like completely valid, and like not every non-binary person changes their name. So I think that's like a really important thing as well. So
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. And it's all about experimentation. I mean, I could have been Kai at one point and I was like, nope.
yeah, Lee really didn't like literally. My birth name was Leah, and then I changed it to Lee, and then
Yeah.
Leo. So it's really not that different from my birth name. I think because I wanted, like, obviously a lot of people that grew up with me knew me as Leah, so I didn't want to stray too far away from my dead name or birth name.
Yeah, I
Um,
get that.
so I wanted everyone to have like a kind of name that's similar to my old name, so like it's easier for them to pick it up quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
I
what.
just kind of like initialized all of my names. So I took it down right to the initial, took the middle name right down to the initial, and then kind of rolled with it from that. Um, yeah, I don't think I ever really kind of uh, thought about going with a completely different name. I don't think that was ever really on the cards. But I've always kind of had this kind of attachment to the K, because that's kind of who I've always been. I've always had that attachment to it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, talking about, we've said about university, how has university, like a university setting, helped you, um, like have a community of friends, and like what's the reaction been to like your friends in university when you've come out as non-binary? Either of you can answer.
Well, I mean, well, mine is a little bit of a downer, to be honest. Back in Northern Ireland, where I'm from, I used to go to a trans center before I even, like, it was on my radar that I was non-binary. I never even registered it, but there was a center called Gender Jam that was run by this fucking incredible woman called Ellen. Ellen from now on Twitter. And she just does this amazing work. But she opened this center in the center of Belfast, and within that center, I had friends just of all fucking kinds. Like, it did not matter. They just like came from all over. It was wonderful. And then I moved here to York, and there was next to nothing. There was an LGBT society within my university, but it just kind of brought with it this really big feeling of isolation, of moving from like a capital city of a country to a small English town with not that much going on.
Yeah.
Things, but yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
How about you?
Mine's kind of been a bit the opposite. I don't know. I kind of, because I was born and raised in Stoke-on-Trent, it's been dubbed the Brexit capital of the UK. So you can kind of imagine how, yeah, you can kind of imagine how the reception was there. I'm out to about half of my family. So they've kind of grown up and dealt with it. But moving to Cardiff has definitely been amazing for me. In first year, I was kind of like really, uh, yeah, kind of closeted, I think, because I was still in the process of coming out. I wasn't correcting people on my pronouns. I was still going by she, her for a lot of the year. And I didn't go to any of the LGBT society socials, didn't really engage much with the student union. And then second year changed, and I changed courses as well. And I think that really helped. So changing courses, being able to be like, okay, this is me. I'm going to start again this year. And then I got really involved with the student union. So I'm the gender identity officer for University South Wales Student Union. And I've been doing that job for 2 years. And that's kind of enormously grown my confidence. It's kind of helped me gain a bit more confidence when announcing myself and announcing my identity as well. So I'm kind of like, privately, I'm kind of still like, oh, that's fine. Like, use that pronoun. I'm not going to correct you. But in like a more professional scenario, I can actually be like, hang on, look, this is who I am. You need to shut up. So it's kind of a mixed bag. But yeah, now I'm kind of in Cardiff full time. It's been really cool. It's been really good.
Yeah, same for me really. Like I said with my discovery of the label, I got to university and I hadn't really delved into the LGBT community. I'm pretty sure my first year of university, that was the first time I went to Pride as well in Cardiff. So like I spoke to like LGBT people online, but I'd never like announced it publicly or like been so visible. Um,
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
definitely joining the society really like opened my eyes to like I'm not alone, and like there's people out there like me that like want to be my friend and like want to be there for you and can help you and give you advice and and just yeah, just be there for you as a friend. Like I especially on Twitter, like the amount of community sometimes, like obviously sometimes you get the negativity, like a lot of the time with the media and like with people that don't, understand what it's like to be us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like through the community on Twitter, I found myself and I found my friends. Like I literally have a second family on Twitter, and
Mhm.
like it just helped me so much because I haven't come out to my parents as non-binary or trans or anything like that. Like they know I'm gay, but they don't know I'm trans or non-binary. So
Mm.
like having a space where I could be myself is just amazing. Um, and I don't have to fear like being outed or anything like that. And it's just really nice. In terms of family, um, I know you said you're out to your family, Kay. What was that like?
Um, it's definitely a process. There's one person in my family who I don't think I'll ever be able to come out to until I show up with a flat chest. Um, but I think it's definitely been a process. Like my granddad, I currently live with one of my granddads, and he's kind of always been in my corner. It kind of took him to get it took him a while to get used to the pronouns, but he attached onto my name really well, and he's kind of always been in my corner no matter what. I think my mum kind of took it. She kind of took a bit longer to just get used to it. And I mean, it's like obviously I'm a baby. She's known me for however long I've been alive, so it's kind of sometimes you always get that thing with mothers where they're just a little bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're a
like
little
they're
bit
losing their
slow on,
child.
yeah, they're a little bit slow on the uptake. But I think, yeah, she's definitely coming around to it a lot more now that letters for the gender identity service are starting to arrive at the house and things like that. So I think she's definitely getting there, and especially now that a lot of the work that I do with trans activism, a lot of that is now being a bit more public. I think she's now kind of being a bit more public with me as well. Because before a couple of years ago, she was like, I'm not going to use your name Kay because someone else uses the name Kay. But now she actively uses my name and she actively uses my pronouns as well, which is really quite nice to see. But yeah, there's still parts of the family who, I mean, I don't really engage with them anymore, so it's not really something that, not
Yeah.
really something that gets me down. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty cool.
I'm out to, well, I've told my brother, please use they, them. And I've told my mum because it was, oh my god, I tell her fucking everything. It is ridiculous. Um, because I only realized, like, I only confronted it about a few months ago, maybe back in January, aroundabouts. Um, I told her in February, I believe,
Mm.
and she's been trying. She's not great with pronouns, but she's trying, and that's
Hmm.
what counts. Um, I don't think you mentioned, Kay, that there are people that you don't think you're gonna be able to come out to.
Yeah.
There is no way in hell I'm coming out to my whole like dad's side to my family.
Yeah. Hmm.
God no.
Is there
Um,
a specific reason?
they're a bit. Mm,
Yeah.
they're a bit back in the times. I don't think I
Yeah.
could really trust them with that information. I mean,
Mm.
even on
Yeah.
my mum's side, it's not really. They're open and they're accepting, but they're not that open and accepting.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, my grandma refuses. She every single message that she sends me, she calls me her baby girl. It's real fun. Love it a lot.
Oof.
It's all right. It's not a huge issue. Maybe one day with one side of the family, but not for
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's kind of that with me. Like I've been. It's like whenever you go to like a family gathering or you just go to visit your parents or you go home from university and you have that like them calling you your dead thing or referring to you by she her pronouns and it's just you just have to sit there and take it.
Yeah.
It makes you
hmm
so uncomfortable and like you just have to like brave it. Like it's getting to the point in my life where I don't think I can do that anymore.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to work out a way to tell them. Like I think my parents would get to terms with um like they took a while for them to come around when I came out as gay and when I told them about my partner um
hmm
and about the engagement and everything else. So I think that they would accept the non-binary label and maybe try to use my pronouns, after a while they would have to process it, that it's having to me wanting to be on testosterone and me wanting to have top surgery. I think
Yeah.
that will be very difficult for them to accept, because I know that a lot of people's parents think that they're losing their child,
Yeah.
when in fact they're not. Literally,
Mhm.
their child is just changing gender or just trying to be themselves. And like, I think my parents will find that a lot harder, because I'll be changing a lot of things about myself that they won't be used to.
Yeah.
I think that will be the hardest thing for them to process. And I think like it's really important for everyone to tell their stories, especially like you guys. Like it's nice to hear someone relate to me about, you know, being scared to come out, and definitely not telling certain people in the family. Like there's certain people in my family that I will never tell. But it's also nice to hear someone who has a positive story, like UK. Like it takes a while,
Yeah.
but they'll get there. And I think it's really important to hear all sides of the story, because
It
obviously
is, yeah.
some people don't have um, the right way to tell their parents. Like there's safety
Yeah.
concerns, and it just depends on your circumstances.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like especially if it's unsafe for you to come out, and if your parents might kick you out. Like I'm in the position where if my family did have a bad reaction, it wouldn't affect me because I moved out and I'm financially stable.
Yeah,
So I
that's
can.
kind of that's one of the only reasons why I really considered telling my mum, was the fact that I was moving out, the
Yeah.
fact that I could get myself to a place where I would be financially stable. But yeah, I think it is so important to, if anyone is ever thinking about coming out, is kind of um, make sure that you are safe, but not only in the terms of physical safety, but also mental safety, financial safety, all that kind of stuff. Make sure that, um, to the best of your ability, that you can be in control of that situation.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than having the rug ripped out underneath you.
And if anyone's listening right now that are questioning their gender, whether they want to be a trans man, a trans woman, gender, non-conforming, non-binary, anything, what advice would you both give to someone listening right now who's questioning their gender and are scared and don't know what to do? If you want to go first, Freya?
Um, find just people who, I mean, like it's a bit presumptuous to just say find people, but do your best to find local places that are like, even like searching up the word queer. I know there's a bit of a thing using it about it being a slur and all of that, but like it is honestly like a really good method to just look up Facebook groups or nearby stuff like that, and go on Twitter, like you said, Leo. Like try your best to find people like you, because it'll just make you feel so much less alone in what you're
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah. I think there's a fantastic book that Fox Fisher and Owl Fisher both wrote, which is Trans Teen Survival Guide. It is not just for teenagers. I think it is a perfect book for anyone who is questioning or etc. Maybe watch some YouTube videos. YouTube is a really sort of accessible platform. It's not the best, considering the adverts and the demonetization. But for people, just being able to consume queer content, I think, is quite helpful. And Starbucks as well. Starbucks, if you go into Starbucks and try out a name, if you're considering changing a name, then that's one of the best places to do it. It's kind of cliche, but you walk in and they're like, "What's your name?" And then you experiment with one and see how it feels. And if you've got a good support of a good group of friends, potentially, if you've got someone who's really, really close with you, and you feel really safe with them, consider telling them, consider saying, "Would you mind in this circumstance using these pronouns, using this name for me?" Maybe just say, just use it around me, try not to use it around my family, that kind of thing. I think that's really helpful. But experimenting is a pretty great way of just trying to figure stuff out. yeah, just kind of spend a little time thinking, oh, am I completely happy? And some people never really get to do that, and some people don't really sit there and question themselves. And I think it's quite useful if you do go and question yourself, because then you're like, oh, there's this thing that I never knew about myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend Trans Teen Survival Guide just as the first kind of interaction you have, because it's literally everything you need to know.
I haven't actually got around to reading it yet.
It's very good. It's very cute. There's lots of illustrations in it as well, which is very nice.
I would say look up lots of things online. Like go on Stonewall, go on supportive places that will give you information. Talk to people. Um, Seeing a counsellor really helps sometimes. Just talking to people who surround you, who you trust and love, and know that will accept you for you, no matter what. And just seeing what support is out there, especially researching places near you. Like there could be a trans group that you could go to, or an LGBT group, or just something that will be near you that could help. Because more often than not, you don't know what's near you. Like I only found out the other day there's an LGBT group down the road from me.
Yeah.
And if I'd known that, like things would be much easier because I live in a city way away from my friends. I graduated last year, and all my friends, my university friends, are scattered around the country. So we moved to this new place, and it's been really hard for me to make friends because all my friends are not here. So, we're back. We are queer and we're here. Anyway. So, we've spoke about our experiences, so we're going to talk about Pride now. Recently, last weekend, I was at Swansea Pride, and I had the joy of LGSM, which
Amazing.
I'm still like I was with and I was shitting myself the whole time. In joy and fear. Yeah, so if no one knows what LGSM is, then you live under a rock. But basically, the film Pride, if you've seen the film Pride, there was a group called LGSM, Lesbians and Gay Support the Minors, in the 80s, who it was during the Thatcher era, and you know how we all feel about Margaret Thatcher. I'm not going to say anything about that because I don't want to get political. She was a bitch, but sorry. Anyway, there was a group of lesbians and gays in London who felt very oppressed by the police at the time, because you know it was not very nice to be gay at that time, and they wanted to support the miners because they were also suffering difficulty with the police at the time and police brutality and everything. So they helped a little Welsh mining town near Swansea called Delife in Northern, and they basically just reached out and wanted to help them, and it just became such a big thing in the community. So they managed to raise a lot of money for the mining community by throwing a concert. And at the time, the Daily Mail weren't writing very nice things about us gays during the time, so they were calling us perverts. So LGSM adopted that title and called it Pits and Perverts. So yeah, they raised quite a lot of money for the mining community, and then a couple of months after that, the mining community came to London Pride and marched with LGSM and showed solidarity. And it's a great film, and I wholly recommend watching it if you haven't. So I actually got to meet some of the miners and LGSM themselves on last weekend, and I was wearing my Pits and Perverts t-shirt, and I had the honour of holding the Lesbian Gay Support the Miners banner and talking to Jonathan and mic, and it was just, I can't get over it. And it was my first time marching in a parade as well, and it was just amazing. Like, we did have some TERFs who were protesting. But there were only two of them, and I'm pretty sure they're the same people who tried to protest London Pride last year. And their organisation is the stupidest sounding organisation. It's called Get the Hell Out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So that was my wonderful experience of Pride.
So, I attended a couple of Stoke-on-Trent Prides when I was younger, when I was in college, and it was okay. It was very small, but it was very, very tame and family friendly, and it was kind of like, it felt like it was pandering to straight people. So it was kind of like a lot of colleges, a lot of businesses, like the army was there, the police was there, all of that kind of jazz. And it was very much like, it's kind of like just a recruitment thing, just covered in rainbows. Yeah, which was a bit gross. And then they had like for puppy play, which is really weird considering like the two tones of the thing, because you've got like this really like pandering to straight people, and then you've just got these people dressed up in puppy outfits being like, walked around.
They were at Swansea Pride.
Yep. And so you've kind of got like these two contrasting tones, which just really doesn't make sense. And then like the first time that I marched in Pride Cymru was not this year but last year, and I decided it'd be a great idea to get NUS to organise a block. So NUS Wales, we marched under that banner. So it was me as the gender identity officer, and then a couple of other people. My best friend was there, and she kind of danced around with her 4-month-old baby on her chest, and he just slept the entire way, which is nuts. That was kind of surreal. And then I can just remember sleeping on someone's floor for that weekend, which was great. It kind of sums up Pride. You just kind of go back somewhere, you sleep on someone's floor, and then you go back the next day. And then Trans Pride Cardiff was my first time kind of like properly feeling the atmosphere and feeling like, this is why we march and this is why it's important. And like, I can remember kind of thinking like, this is absolutely terrifying, but it kind of just reinforced the fact that we were marching for something. Like, we kind of met in front of the statue of the guy who founded the NHS, and some delicious kind of like irony, and we were kind of just like, just giving him the middle finger. Be like, we love the NHS, but your gender system sucks. And we were kind of just like, we'd marched all the way around. The only real like kind of people that we got any animosity back from was someone who shouted at us, "You're all communists," and we were like, "Well, kind of," which is quite funny. We were mid chant as well, and we all just sort of going like 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, that's hilarious! We just couldn't finish the chant. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping to march again in this Pride Cymru this year and do a bit more volunteering. But yeah, I much preferred the atmosphere of Trans Pride Cardiff, because it kind of brought it back to the protest and kind of the authenticity of it, where I think, especially with what happened with Manchester Pride this year with Ariana Grande and all that kind of stuff, I think it does kind of make it a glorified rainbow fest for the straights, where it's literally a music festival. They're not even calling it Pride, it's Pride Music Festival or something like that. And it's like, that's not the point. We're getting killed. That's not the point. It's kind of, it does make you think and make you look at like, oh Jesus, okay.
Belfast Pride. I've marched in it twice. Funnily enough, both times in the trans block, so just really getting punched in the face and not noticing with it. It was really funny. But March with the Trans Bloc. It was great because it's the capital city of Northern Ireland. Like, it's probably the safest, bold statement, but it's probably the safest day of the year. Just in the middle of the day in the parade, that's when you're the safest because, like, Northern Ireland is spicy. But my experience with the parade was decent. Like you mentioned, it catered a lot to straight people. Like, it wasn't something for us to be proud, it was something for other people to be proud of. What they thought about us. Like, it was just like celebrating, oh, we like accept the bare minimum, congrats, and like Smirnoff bottles covered in rainbows. It was just God. I mean, it was all right. It was fine. We all sat in the grass. It was grand. I've never been to a trans-specific event in Northern Ireland. I mean, I know they exist. I don't know. I haven't done much research on it, but overall, kind of mediocre experiences. The people made it, but the event planning was interesting.
I label myself as an LGBT filmmaker, like.
I mean, that's cool.
I have on the side of working at the university. I have I don't know if you could call it a film company because it's not really a film company because I have no money. It's like, I don't know what you would call it. It's
like a project.
Yeah. Called Trans Stories Film, where I have a group of amazing trans and non-binary crew who, so basically the documentary is basically about travelling around the UK and interviewing trans non-binary people about their stories, because I'm sick and tired of people writing articles about us who have literally nothing idea about what we're going through, and don't interview trans and non-binary people because, obviously they don't think about that. It's pretty obvious that you should. So I just got sick of it, and I was like, you know what, I just want to do something for us. So I think 2 months ago we travelled to Manchester. Me, my girlfriend, fiance, sorry, Ruth, Cara, who's now going by Oscar, and Ash. And we travelled to Manchester, and we got to interview some trans and non-binary people at the LGBT Foundation.
That's super cool.
It was really cool. The travel wasn't great after it. They were back ahead of us, so that was fun.
I can imagine.
That was not great, but I got to meet some amazing people. And we have a Cardiff date coming up on May 25th. So I don't really have any details yet, but it's May 25th. So I've got some amazing people coming to that, including Kay. As well. So yeah, if you're from Cardiff, come along to that if you want some bants. Yeah, that's basically what I do. So yeah, follow us. My Twitter is at sipping_the tea, but not tea as in sip the tea, like tea the drink, like testosterone, but the capital T. Yes.
So my Twitter handle is at KAYR Dennis with 2 N's. Yes, I'm very original. It is just my name. I'm also on Instagram at exactly the same handle. So chuck me over, find me on there.
My Twitter is at mopelope, which is a nonsense word given to me by an IT technician about 8 years ago now, and it has just stayed with me. My Instagram. I have 2. Art one is whatever_your_words. My personal is Freya_Bramble.
Mine is at Leo Rogers, 14, and trans stories at trans__stories. And I'm pretty sure it's the same on Instagram. It's either at trans__stories or just trans stories, one word. I don't know. I can't remember.
So I have a theatre company. I am one half of Unorthodox Identities Theatre Company. So on Twitter we are UI_theatre co. And then on Instagram, we are Unorthodox Identities. We have just performed our final major project for university, which was called Fearless, and hopefully the video for that should be coming out soon. And yes, Leo makes a wonderful appearance.
I do.
So yes, that should be amazing.
Thing coming up are you excited for?
Okay, you go first.
Who? You said you go first, but I don't know who you're talking to.
I have some plans tonight, which I'm very excited for. They're not big, they're not cool, but I'm very excited anyway. A friend and I are going to get together and get drunk, repot plants, and watch Twilight 2, and that's my big cool plan.
That is amazing.
Why are you going back there? That was like teenage, like, regret, those films.
Okay, so I regret what I'm about to say. Twilight is my favorite film. Nothing can change that. It is so good.
Okay.
To be fair, that franchise did not deserve the diversity in that cast.
Exactly. The book was bullshit, but the movies
Yeah.
were so fun.
Yeah.
Each to their own.
I
Say.
am indifferent to Twilight.
I mean, back then I was obsessed, but I wasn't obsessed with Edward or Jacob. It was Alice.
Oh
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Alice and Becca.
Yeah. And like obviously I wasn't obsessed with Bella because she constantly looked constipated. The whole
Yeah.
yeah.
In fairness, that was before we knew Kristen Stewart was queer, so.
Oh, I love her now. Oh man. Yeah. Anyway, I have something cool coming up on next week on Wednesday. Me and my partner are traveling to London to go see Everybody's Talking About Janie.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh my god.
There's a guest who is going to be in that particular show. Bianca Del Rio is going to be in it. In that particular show that we're going to see.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why we're seeing that particular show. So we're
I am
traveling
very
to London
jealous.
to go see. I'm very excited, and it was my partner's birthday present, so yeah, we're going to go see that. I'm not looking forward to the 6 a.m. bus to the mega bus to London. And then the 6 o'clock bus back. So we're not going to get back till like 11 o'clock at night, but I have taken the day off the next day, so I shall be sleeping the whole time. Yeah, from the UK.
I have a lot of meetings. Yeah, fun. So I've got a couple of union bits and bobs to do, and I'm excited to kind of get the catch up on where we are, because one of the exciting things at the moment is that we're currently planning our equality plan for 2019-2020. It's very admin and very boring, but it is kind of exciting to say that I had an input in it. Which is pretty cool. And then I also have an interview with Rachel the same day. So Rachel, who might be one of our featured guests soon, is doing a study for her degree, her master's, I think, about trans spaces. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool as well. So thank you for listening. We've been the Non-Trinary. Hopefully we'll be back within the next few weeks with a new podcast, and hopefully with a bit more consistency. So yeah, if you want to hit us up on any of our social medias, go and follow us, go and donate and commission either Leo or Freya.